Hello everyone, welcome to Easy English for Everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share to receive the latest videos. Now let's study together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a story about a very brilliant man, Thomas Edison. Many people know his name, but do you know his story? Edison was a famous inventor who changed the world with his amazing ideas. Our story is about a young boy named Thomas. Thomas grew up in a small town with his family. He was curious, always asking questions and trying new things. But school was hard for Thomas. His teachers didn't understand his way of thinking, and some people even thought he wasn't very smart. But Thomas didn't give up. He loved reading, learning, and experimenting at home. He worked hard and believed in his ideas. Over time, Thomas Edison became one of the greatest inventors in history. He created the light bulb, the phonograph, and many other inventions that changed the world. Let's follow Thomas Edison's journey. We will read his story in short, simple chapters. Along the way, we will learn new words and see how his hard work and creativity brought light to the world. Are you ready? Let's begin. Chapter 1. A Curious Boy. Long, long ago, in a small town in America, there lived a little boy named Thomas Edison. Thomas was not like other children. He was very, very curious. He always wanted to know how things worked. If he saw a bird fly, he would ask, "Why do birds fly? How do their wings move?" If he saw a light, he would ask, "What is light? Where does it come from?" His parents, Samuel and Nancy Edison, loved him very much. They knew Thomas was special. He had a big, bright mind, even though he sometimes had trouble hearing. When Thomas was a young boy, he went to school for a short time. But school was not easy for him. He asked so many questions. Sometimes, the teacher could not answer them all. Some teachers thought Thomas was a little bit difficult. One day, the teacher told Thomas's mother, "Thomas is a confused child. He can't learn like other children." Nancy Edison was very sad, but she was also very strong. She knew her son was smart. She took Thomas out of school. "I will teach you myself," she said, and that's what she did. Nancy Edison was a teacher before she had children. She was a very good teacher. She taught Thomas at home. She read books with him. She answered his many, many questions. She helped him learn about the world. Thomas loved learning at home with his mother. He could ask as many questions as he wanted. His mother never said, "Don't ask so many questions." Instead, she said, "That's a very good question, Thomas. Let's find out the answer together." Thomas loved to read books about science and inventions. He was fascinated by how things worked. He would spend hours reading and thinking. He also loved to do experiments. Sometimes, his experiments were a little bit messy. One day, Thomas was watching a bird. He saw it fly up into the sky. "Why can birds fly?" he thought. Maybe if I eat worms, I can fly too." So, Thomas found some worms in the garden. He mixed them with water and gave them to a friend to eat. "Eat these," Thomas said, "and you will fly." His friend ate the worms, but he did not fly. Instead, he felt very sick. Thomas's father was not happy when he found out about the worms. "Thomas," he said, "you must not do things like that. You need to learn about science in a safe way." Thomas learned his lesson. He understood that experiments need to be done carefully. But he never stopped being curious. He never stopped asking why. And he never stopped wanting to learn and invent new things. This curiosity, this wanting to know why, would stay with Thomas Edison for his whole life. It was the beginning of his amazing journey to become one of the world's greatest inventors. Chapter 2. Working hard and learning more. When Thomas grew a little older, he needed to earn money. His family was not very rich. So, at the young age of 12, Thomas got a job. He became a newsboy on a train. A newsboy sells newspapers and snacks on trains. Early in the morning, Thomas would wake up and go to the train station. He would get newspapers and candies and put them in his bag. Then, he would jump on the train. All day long, he walked through the train cars, calling out, "Newspapers! Candies. Get your newspapers and candies. It was hard work. Thomas worked long hours every day, but he was a hard worker, and even while he was working, his mind was always busy. He was always thinking, always learning. On the train, Thomas had a small space to himself. He turned this space into a little laboratory. Yes, even on a moving train, Thomas did experiments. He bought chemicals and equipment with the money he earned. He would read science books and then try out new things. Sometimes, his experiments were still a little bit surprising. One day, Thomas was doing an experiment with chemicals on the train. Suddenly, something went wrong. There was a small fire. The train conductor was very angry. He threw Thomas and all his equipment off the train. Thomas was sad to lose his job as a newsboy, but he did not give up on learning. He found another job, working at a telegraph office. A telegraph was a new invention at that time. It was a way to send messages quickly over long distances using wires and electricity. Working at the telegraph office was very interesting for Thomas. He learned all about telegraphs. He learned about electricity. He was fascinated by how these machines worked. He wanted to understand everything about them. Thomas was very good at his job. He was quick and accurate in sending and receiving messages. He also started to improve the telegraph machines. He invented new ways to make them work better. One day, something amazing happened. A little boy was in danger near the train tracks. Thomas saw what was happening and quickly pulled the boy out of the way of the train. The boy's father was very grateful to Thomas. The father was the station agent, the person in charge of the train station. To thank Thomas, the station agent taught him how to use the telegraph even better. He taught Thomas everything he knew. Thomas was a very good student. He learned very fast. He became an expert in telegraphy. Working with telegraphs was very important for Thomas. It taught him a lot about electricity and inventions. It gave him ideas for new inventions, and it showed him that he could make things better, that he could solve problems with his mind and his hands. This job was another step on his path to becoming a great inventor. He was working hard, learning more, and getting closer to his dreams. Chapter 3: Ideas and Inventions. Thomas Edison was full of ideas. His brain was like a factory, always making new thoughts and plans. He was always thinking about how to make things better, how to solve problems, how to invent new things. After working at the telegraph office for some time, Thomas decided to become a full-time inventor. He wanted to spend all his time creating new things. He moved to a new city, New York City, a very big and busy place. In New York, Thomas started working on his inventions. One of his first important inventions was an improved telegraph machine. At that time, telegraph machines could only send one message at a time. Thomas invented a new kind of telegraph that could send two messages at the same time, on the same wire. This was a big improvement. It meant that telegraph companies could send more messages faster and easier. Thomas called his new invention the duplex telegraph. It was his first big invention that made him famous. People started to notice Thomas Edison. They saw that he was a clever inventor. He got money for his invention, and he used that money to keep inventing. Thomas did not stop with the duplex telegraph. He kept working, kept inventing. He invented many other things to improve the telegraph. He invented a machine that could automatically send telegraph messages very fast. He also invented a machine that could record telegraph messages. This was like a very early version of a voice recorder, but for telegraph code. Thomas Edison was becoming known as a wizard of Menlo Park. Menlo Park was a small town in New Jersey. Thomas built a big laboratory there. It was like a factory for inventions. He had many people working with him, helping him with his ideas. Menlo Park was a very exciting place. Inventors, scientists, and engineers worked together day and night. They were trying to invent new things all the time. It was a place full of energy, ideas, and hard work. Thomas Edison was the leader of this amazing place. He encouraged everyone to think big and to never give up. In Menlo Park, Thomas and his team worked on many different inventions. They worked on improving telephones, which were also a new invention at that time. They worked on new ways to use electricity. They worked on machines for mining and for making iron. Thomas Edison believed in hard work and perseverance. He famously said, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." This means that having a good idea is only a small part of inventing. The most important part is working hard, trying again and again, and never giving up, even when things are difficult. Thomas Edison lived by these words. He worked tirelessly on his inventions, always trying to make them better. His ideas and inventions were changing the world, making life easier and more exciting for everyone. Chapter 4. The Light Bulb, a Bright Idea. Of all the amazing things Thomas Edison invented, one invention is perhaps the most famous: the light bulb. Before the light bulb, people used candles and oil lamps to light their homes and streets at night. These lights were dim and smoky. They could also be dangerous. People wanted a better, safer, and brighter way to light up the darkness. Many inventors before Edison had tried to make an electric light. They had ideas, but none of them worked very well or for very long. Some lights were too bright and burned out quickly. Others were too dim. Nobody had yet made a practical and affordable electric light that everyone could use. Thomas Edison decided to solve this problem. He and his team in Menlo Park started to work on the electric light bulb. They knew it would be a difficult task, but they were determined to succeed. They tried many different materials to use inside the light bulb. They tried different shapes and sizes. They experimented day and night. They tried thousands of different things. Many times they failed. Their light bulbs would burn out too quickly, or they would not give off enough light. Sometimes they would even explode. But Thomas Edison and his team did not give up. They learned from every failure. Each time something went wrong, they tried to understand why. Then they would try something new. They kept experimenting, kept working, kept trying. Finally, after many tries, they found the right material. It was a thin thread of carbonized cotton. They put this thread inside a glass bulb and removed the air from the bulb. Then they sent electricity through the thread. And it worked. The thread glowed brightly. It gave off a warm, steady light. And it lasted for a long time. Thomas Edison and his team had invented the first practical incandescent light bulb. It was a moment of great excitement and celebration in Menlo Park. News of the invention spread quickly around the world. People were amazed. They could not believe that darkness could be pushed away so easily, so brightly. The light bulb changed the world forever. Suddenly, nights could be as bright as day. People could work and play and read at night, just like in the daytime. Streets became safer. Factories could stay open longer. Homes became brighter and more cheerful. Thomas Edison's light bulb was not just a bright light. It was a symbol of progress, of innovation, and of the power of hard work and perseverance. It showed the world that even the most difficult problems can be solved if you keep trying and never give up. The light bulb made Thomas Edison even more famous and respected. He became known as the man who brought light to the world. And it all started with a curious boy who loved to ask why, and who never stopped trying to find the answers. Chapter 5. Music and Moving Pictures. Thomas Edison did not stop inventing after the light bulb. He was always thinking of new ideas, new ways to make life better and more interesting. He loved music and he loved stories. So, he started to work on inventions that could capture sound and movement. One of his next great inventions was the phonograph. The phonograph was a machine that could record and play back sound. Imagine, before the phonograph, people could only hear music live, when musicians were playing right in front of them. If you wanted to hear music again, you had to wait for the musicians to play again. Thomas Edison's phonograph changed all that. With the phonograph, You could record sounds, music, voices, anything, and then play them back whenever you wanted. It was like magic. The first phonograph used a cylinder covered in tin foil. You would speak or sing into a horn, and the sound vibrations would make a needle move and create grooves on the tin foil. To play back the sound, you would turn the cylinder and the needle would follow the grooves, playing back the recorded sound. When Thomas Edison first demonstrated the phonograph, people were astonished. They could not believe that a machine could capture and replay sound. It seemed like a miracle. The phonograph became very popular. People used it to listen to music at home, to record speeches, and even to send voice messages. But Thomas Edison was not finished with sound. He also wanted to capture movement. He wanted to create moving pictures. This was a much harder task than recording sound. But Thomas Edison loved challenges. He and his team started working on a machine that could record and project moving images. They experimented with different kinds of film and different ways to show the pictures. After many years of hard work, they finally succeeded. They invented the kinetoscope, an early motion picture device. The kinetoscope was a box with a small window on top. Inside the box, there was a long strip of film with pictures on it. When you looked through the window and turned a handle, you could see the pictures moving. It was like watching a very short, silent movie. The kinetoscope was another amazing invention from Thomas Edison. It was the beginning of the movie industry. People loved to watch moving pictures. It was a new form of entertainment, a new way to tell stories, a new way to see the world. Thomas Edison's inventions of the phonograph and the kinetoscope showed his incredible creativity and his desire to bring joy and wonder to people's lives. He not only brought light to the world, but also sound and moving pictures. He was truly a remarkable inventor, always pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Chapter 6. A Long and Inventive Life. Thomas Edison lived a long and very inventive life. He did not just invent the light bulb, the phonograph, and the kinetoscope. He invented many, many other things. Over 1,000 inventions in total. He was one of the most prolific inventors in history. He invented improvements to batteries, making them last longer and work better. He invented a better version of the telephone, making it clearer and easier to use. He worked on electric cars, although they were not as successful in his time as his other inventions. He even invented a machine to help mine iron ore. Thomas Edison was not just an inventor. He was also a businessman. He started companies to make and sell his inventions. He built factories to produce light bulbs and phonographs. He helped to create new industries and new jobs. He was a hard worker throughout his life. Even when he was old, he continued to work in his laboratory, experimenting and inventing. He believed that there was always something new to discover, something new to create. Thomas Edison became a world-famous figure. People admired him for his inventions and for his hard work. He was seen as a symbol of American ingenuity and innovation. He received many honors and awards from around the world. But even with all his fame and success, Thomas Edison remained a humble and curious man. He never forgot his early days as a curious boy asking, why? He always kept that spirit of curiosity and that desire to learn and invent. He inspired many people to become inventors and scientists. He showed that with hard work, perseverance, and a curious mind, anything is possible. His inventions changed the way people lived, worked, and played. He truly made the world a brighter, more connected, and more entertaining place. Thomas Edison died in 1931 at the age of 84, but his inventions and his legacy live on. We still use light bulbs every day. We still listen to recorded music. We still watch movies. These are all things that Thomas Edison helped to bring into the world. When you turn on a light, or listen to music, or watch a movie, remember Thomas Edison, the boy who loved to ask, why? Remember his hard work, his perseverance, and his amazing inventions. And remember that curiosity and a desire to learn can lead to wonderful things. Just like Thomas Edison, you too can make a difference in the world if you keep asking why and never stop trying. Chapter 7. The Legacy of Light. Thomas Edison's story is more than just a story about inventions. It's a story about the power of curiosity, hard work, and never giving up. He showed the world that even if you start with nothing, you can achieve great things if you have a dream and are willing to work for it. Think about it. Thomas Edison didn't always have it easy. He had trouble in school. He had hearing problems. He faced many failures and setbacks in his experiments. But he never let these challenges stop him. He turned them into opportunities to learn and grow stronger. His curiosity was his superpower. It drove him to ask questions, to explore, to experiment, and to invent. He wasn't afraid to try new things, even if they seemed impossible. He understood that failure is just a part of the learning process. Every time an experiment didn't work, he saw it as a chance to learn something new and try again in a different way. His hard work and perseverance were also key to his success. He spent countless hours in his laboratory, working tirelessly on his inventions. He didn't expect things to come easy. He knew that great achievements required dedication and effort. He was willing to put in the time and energy needed to make his dreams a reality. And what a reality he created! His inventions have touched the lives of billions of people around the world. The light bulb illuminated our homes and cities, making nights safer and more productive. The phonograph brought music into our homes, enriching our lives with sound and entertainment. Motion pictures opened up a whole new world of storytelling and visual experience. Thomas Edison's legacy is not just in his inventions themselves, but also in the spirit of innovation and progress that he embodied. He showed us that we can use our minds and our creativity to solve problems and make the world a better place. He inspired generations of inventors, scientists, and entrepreneurs to follow in his footsteps, to dream big, and to pursue their passions with determination and hard work. So, the next time you switch on a light, listen to music, or watch a movie, take a moment to remember Thomas Edison. Remember the curious boy who asked, why? And the man who brought light, sound, and motion to the world. Let his story inspire you to be curious, to work hard, and to never give up on your dreams. Because, just like Thomas Edison, you too have the potential to make the world a brighter place. All it takes is a little curiosity, a lot of hard work, and the courage to keep asking why.